Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Speak Better Daily.
Thanks, Emma. It's great to be here.
I'm Emma, and today we have a really interesting question. Why do you understand English but can't speak it?
And I'm Ethan. You may understand English when people speak, but when it's your turn, you suddenly don't know what to say.
Exactly. So today we'll talk about 5 reasons why this happens.
And we'll also share simple ways to improve your speaking.
So, Ethan, are you ready to find out the first reason?
Absolutely. Let's get started.
Have you ever understood English perfectly? But when you try to speak, you suddenly don't know what to say. That's actually very common. You may watch English videos, listen to podcasts, and understand what people are saying. But when it's your turn to speak, your mind suddenly goes blank. One big reason is simple. You don't practice speaking enough. Maybe you spend 1 hour every day listening to English. You watch videos, learn new words, and read English posts. That's all useful. But there's one important thing missing, actually speaking. Think about it. If you want to become good at football, you can watch football matches for hours, but watching doesn't make you a better player. You have to get on the field and play. English is exactly the same. You can listen to English for months, but if you rarely speak, speaking will still feel difficult. And here's something important. You don't need a speaking partner every day. You can practice alone. Talk about your morning. Describe what you're doing. Talk about your plans. Tell yourself a short story about something that happened today. For example, instead of just thinking, "I'm tired," say it out loud. "I'm really tired today because I didn't sleep well last night, but I still have a lot of things to do." That simple practice teaches your brain to create English sentences faster. At first, you may feel uncomfortable. You may make grammar mistakes. You may forget words. That's completely normal. Don't stop because of mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. Start with just 5 minutes of speaking every day. Then slowly increase it to 10 or 15 minutes. The goal isn't to speak perfect English. The goal is to become comfortable using English. So remember, listening helps you understand English, but speaking practice helps you become a speaker. If you understand English but struggle to speak, don't just listen today. Open your mouth and speak.
Have you ever wanted to say something in English, but first you said it in your own language, translated it in your head, and then tried to say it in English? This is another big reason why you understand English but struggle to speak. You may know exactly what you want to say, but your brain is doing too much work. First, you think in your language, then you translate, then you check your grammar. Finally, you try to speak. By the time you're ready, the conversation has already moved on. Imagine someone asks you, "What did you do yesterday?" Instead of answering naturally, you might think about the question in your language, create the answer, translate every word, and then try to say it. That makes speaking slow and stressful. The solution is to start thinking in simple English. You don't need to think in complicated sentences. Start with very small thoughts. When you wake up, think, "I'm tired." When you're hungry, think, "I need something to eat." When you're going outside, think, "I need my phone and keys." These simple sentences train your brain to connect ideas directly with English. Another great way to practice is to describe what you see around you. Look at your room and say, "There's a table. My phone is on the table. The window is open. I need to clean my room." You're not translating. You're simply thinking and speaking in English. At first, it will feel difficult. That's okay. Don't try to stop your native language completely. Just create small moments during the day when you use English directly. The goal is to make English feel more automatic, because when you stop translating every sentence, you can respond faster, speak more naturally, and feel much more confident. So next time you want to speak English, don't ask yourself, "How do I translate this?" Instead, ask yourself, "How can I say this simply in English?" That small change can make a huge difference.
Have you ever had the right words in your head, but you didn't say them because you were afraid of making a mistake? This is one of the biggest problems for English learners. You may think, "What if my grammar is wrong?" Or "What if they laugh at my pronunciation?" So you stay quiet. You listen to everyone else speaking English, but you don't join the conversation. And the more you stay silent, the harder speaking becomes. The truth is, you will make mistakes. Everyone does. Even people who speak English very well sometimes make mistakes. They forget words, say something incorrectly, or change their sentence halfway through. The difference is that they don't stop speaking because of it. Imagine saying, "Yesterday I go to the market." Maybe the correct sentence is, "Yesterday I went to the market." That's okay. You made a mistake, you learned from it, and you can say it correctly next time. Don't let one small mistake stop an entire conversation. Your goal is not to sound perfect. Your goal is to communicate. Think about when children learn their first language. They make thousands of mistakes, but they keep talking. They don't wait until their grammar is perfect. You should do the same. If you're afraid of speaking with other people, start somewhere comfortable. Speak to yourself. Record your voice. Practice with a podcast. Repeat sentences out loud. Then slowly start speaking with other people. And when you make a mistake, don't panic. Correct yourself and continue. The more you speak, the less scary mistakes become. So remember this. Mistakes don't mean you're bad at English. They mean you're practicing. Don't wait to become confident before you speak. Speak, make mistakes, learn, and become confident through practice.
Do you know hundreds of English words but still struggle to make a simple sentence? This is another common reason why people understand English but can't speak it. You might spend hours memorizing vocabulary. You learn words like improve, opportunity, experience, confident, and successful. You know what these words mean. But when someone asks you a question, you still don't know how to use them naturally. Why? Because knowing a word is not the same as knowing how to use it. Instead of learning single words, try learning complete phrases and sentences. For example, don't just learn the word interested. Learn, "I'm interested in learning English." Don't just learn agree. Learn, "I completely agree with you." Don't just learn tired. Learn, "I'm a little tired today." This makes speaking much easier because you're not building every sentence from zero. Your brain starts remembering useful patterns. You can also create different sentences using the same pattern. For example, I'm interested in learning English. I'm interested in business. I'm interested in traveling. I'm interested in meeting new people. Now you're not just learning vocabulary. You're learning how to use English in real conversations. Another useful habit is to collect sentences you hear in movies, podcasts, or videos. If you hear a sentence that sounds natural, write it down and say it several times. Don't just read it silently. Say it, repeat it, use it in your own situation. For example, if you hear, "That sounds like a great idea," try using it when you talk to someone. The more useful phrases you practice, the faster they will come to your mind when you need them. So stop trying to memorize thousands of individual words. Learn words, yes, but learn them inside real sentences and conversations. Because speaking isn't about knowing the most words. It's about knowing how to use the words you already know.
Have you ever studied English for a long time? But when you finally talk to someone, you still don't know what to say? This could be because you're learning English, but you're not practicing real conversations. You may memorize vocabulary, study grammar, and watch English lessons, but real conversations are different. People don't always speak slowly. They ask unexpected questions. They change topics. Sometimes they use short expressions that you've never studied in a textbook. That's why you need to practice conversations, not just English lessons. For example, imagine someone asks you, "What do you usually do on weekends?" Don't just memorize one answer. Practice different answers. You could say, "I usually stay home and watch movies," or "I like going out with my friends," or "It depends. Sometimes I just relax at home." Then practice asking a question back. "What about you?" That's how real conversations work. You answer, you ask questions, you react, and you keep the conversation going. You can practice this alone by imagining different situations. Imagine you're meeting someone for the first time. Imagine you're ordering food at a restaurant. Imagine you're talking to a new classmate. Imagine you're having a job interview. Ask yourself questions and answer them out loud. And don't always prepare the answer before speaking. Give yourself a few seconds and try to respond naturally. That will train your brain to think faster in English. Remember, the goal isn't to memorize every possible conversation. The goal is to become comfortable when you don't know exactly what someone is going to say. That's what real communication is about. So if you understand English but still struggle to speak, start practicing real conversations every day. Practice answering questions. Practice asking questions. Practice explaining your opinions. And most importantly, keep the conversation going. You don't need perfect English to have a great conversation. You just need to start speaking, keep practicing, and refuse to give up. Because once you stop studying English only as a subject and start using it as a real communication skill, speaking becomes much easier